Okay, so at some point in our lives, we have all dreamt of traveling or thought about traveling somewhere. I know I've always thought about traveling to Japan. I love their culture, their aesthetic, their food. I love everything about Japan. So I've always thought about traveling there. One thing that a lot of people don't consider when traveling to a different country is the communication. It can be a language barrier or even nonverbal communication. And while I was doing research, there are three things that stood out to me, three different forms of nonverbal communication. So in this presentation, I'm going to go over those three. The first form of nonverbal communication is kinesics, and that can consist of posture, gestures, or eye contact. So posture in Japan is, let's say you are slouched over, legs crossed, not looking at someone, that can be considered rude. However, if you are sitting up straight, feet on the floor, and paying attention, then that would be considered correct posture. As far as eye contact, which is another form of nonverbal communication, is if you make eye contact with somebody in Japan, it is considered to be kind of rude. To them, it can be uncomfortable. I know here in the US, it's considered to have like confidence. So I know in Japan, it's the opposite. So making eye contact with someone can make them uncomfortable. Also, gestures. If you are going into somebody's house, even restaurants, they sometimes prefer you to remove your shoes. Going into someone's home and not removing your shoes can be rude or disrespectful. So always pay attention to your surroundings and see if others have removed their shoes, or you'll notice them at the front of the door there. Another form of nonverbal communication will be proxemics, which consists of space, distance, and color. As far as space, Japanese people tend to be apart from one another. They don't like being close to each other. They prefer to be a couple feet away. I know the most common times that you'll see them by each other is if it's like older men out drinking. That's when you'll see them like kind of embracing each other or just like, touching each other. Also, another one is distance. In Japan, the distance can be, there's a lot of technological advancement in Japan. So everyone assumes that transportation is easier over there. However, that's not the case. There are many students that have to do online classes because it's very hard for them to travel. Also, for colors, a lot of things in Japan can mean different things, like different colors. Red is used to scare away evil spirits. Or there's also like the color white, which can just mean spiritual purity. Another form, the third and last form of nonverbal communication, is going to be self-presentation. So self-presentation consists of clothing, like touch, and time. So clothing in Japan, people used to wear kimonos all the time. However, now that is not the case. People just dress more Western styled, kind of how we do here in the US. So it's more common to see someone wearing a kimono if it's a large event or something special. So you won't see them wearing kimonos that often. As far as touch, it's not that common for them to show affection, only when it's a mother with a young child. So you'll see that more often whenever a mother is embracing a young child or something like that. However, as they get older, you won't see that. That's not common. Not even sometimes in relationships is not a common thing to be seen. Also out in public, you won't see it that often. So also time. So in Japan, time, people are very punctual in Japan. It comes as a shock to someone from the US to travel to Japan and see how timely everything is. Everyone is on time to everything. Buses are rarely late, trains are rarely late. And usually Japanese people tend to be early to every appointment, about 10 to 15 minutes early. So it's not very common to see people to be late as it is here in the US. So to summarize, we went over 3 different types of nonverbal communication, which is kinesics, proxemics, and self-presentation. And those 3 forms of nonverbal communication are something you can come across in other countries, not just Japan. So hopefully this information becomes useful to you guys. If you ever decide to travel somewhere else, you won't just research like travel expenses or anything. You'll also research the types of nonverbal communication that you'll come across. Thank you.